It has not died yet. I'm waiting for the universe to tell me I'm wrong. I made a separate one that said beans, and I had to write beans again. I don't know if it got the memo. I don't know. I literally couldn't write more than one word because I thought it would be too much of a concern. It was gonna be beans. It's just beans to canned beans. Yes, it's just beans. To just plain beans. Oh, I can hear that. Ew. Oh, do I need to go to the live thing? This one. My computer is so fickle today. Hey, there it is. It's unlisted! Perfect. That means I have time to choose to go back. Wait, why would it be unlisted if it said it was public on this one? Conflicting. You know what? That's fine. How do I change it? It's been a while. It'll be a while. Monetization? No, I'm looking on how to make it public. Wait, I can't make it public? Beans. Look, I know I had. Oh, it says warning. Yeah, that's about normal right there. Let's see what it's saying. Stream's current bitrate is not at the recommended. Yeah, I get that. Beans. I don't know why though. Everything looks to be going good. It's just YouTube saying warning. Whatever. I want it to be public. What was the title going to be the first time? I don't know. We recommend that bitrate? Yeah, sure, I'll get there one day. We just got the alerts back. You expect me to fix the bitrate? Where is the publicity button? I can't find it. Playlist, category. Ah, there it is. Visibility. Private. Members only. That's kind of cruel. Am I confident enough to be members? No, I'm not. Just make it public. This was originally going to be titled Shame Stream. You know how like YouTubers say, hey, test stream, I'll delete it soon or something. I just poured that before my mouth was anywhere near the can. Oh no. Pants will be fine. Ugh, gross. It has been a good day until it wasn't anymore. I'm just gonna assume that YouTube doesn't know what it's talking about. If it ain't one thing, it's another thing broken. Hold on, let's see if the chat even works. Oh, I didn't even mean to type sad. I just spammed. Oh, that is the most clear cry for help I've ever seen today. Wow. It doesn't seem to show up either. So I assume the alerts are also broken again. That's poetic. No, really? What? Okay, so the chat... Wait, who just... Did somebody actually just become a member? Why? Wait, that's Vegeta. Hi, Vegeta. I was like, rando, don't give me $1. Okay, the chat's broken. Hey, I'm perpetually cursed. It's whatever. I mean, the current... Oh, been a member for 12 months. That's what it is. It really needs to stop outing viewers like that. It's kind of creepy. Somebody mentioned that about Twitch. They're like, don't shout out your lurkers or something. I'm like, I don't know enough about Twitch, but I can understand that. It didn't even dawn on me that thanks to PointBot, I technically can see who even lurks in a way? I don't know. It seems gross. Who knows? But yeah, I got the alerts working. Yeah, those will disappear as a new problem arises. But yeah, hi. Welcome to the stream. Well, I'm on hiatus because I can never commit to a breakdown. basically, I need to update my debut stream, which is it's a year old at this point. Just hit 1K, and I said I was bipolar. No, that is 100% BPD. Yeah. So that's basically what's been happening. I've been having a BPD meltdown, which is like a more rapid cycling of drastic actions. Usually for BPD, it's more of the lethal means, but I'm a survivor and I don't do that stuff. I just suffer in silence. So my equivalent of that kind of level of severity is just doing the social suicide and being like, I'm out, bye, and then 2 days later I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. But I keep having second thoughts and more thoughts, and I'm like, I can never commit to anything. I had a really good day today, and I had to Google, is there a condition to where you get really happy and then immediately depressed once it even slightly goes down? And there's a whole honey hole of words I do not know. Give me my search history. I have been struggling to get this computer to consistently have internet for still today. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. My little Google. I said, what is it called when you get miserable after good things? And then they went, hey, this is actually, it had a word, and then you scroll down, it's like crotophobia, crowophobia, and I don't feel like that quite sums it up. And then I see all these other ones, and I'm like, they're just adding words to a phobia here. What is this? Alphasagoraphobia is a fear of forgetting someone or something, as well as a fear of being forgotten. I mean, yeah. Oh, it's derived off of Alzheimer's. No duh. I was like, why does it look like Alzheimer's, but it's phobia? That's unrelated. Dithomania? Persistent depressive disorder is continued long-term chronic form of depression. Okay, well, be more specific? You may lose interest in normal daily activities, feel hopeless, lack of productivity, and have low self-esteem. And an overall feeling of inadequacy. I mean, that's my whole life. Wait, that's a mania. So it's a mood disorder. Phobia is a fear. My original question wasn't either of these things. It was, what does it feel like when you just lose happiness? And it's called happiness hangover, which is less mundane and cool than I thought. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna have to pop open the original chat. It's been 1 whole year. Yeah. Has YouTube been working properly? No, it has not. Well, I mean, no, wait. Yes, it has, but everything else is going wrong. Isn't that bipolar syndrome? Oh, hi, Kyros, by the way, honey. Hi. The difference between bipolar is the rapid shift between moods. With BPD, it is night and day, one extreme to the other extreme. There is no gray area. Basically, where basically the end product of not bipolar, but like a BPD, when you start having a breakdown, it's a chronic abandonment thing, and you start. The worst example about being BPD right now would be Amber Heard. She's scum. That's been a whole fucking tangent that I'm just watching from the sidelines, and I go, oh, great. No, I'm not a perfect definition of BPD either. I've never been a perfect definition of anything, not even with, oh boy, bones cracking. Not even with my occipital neuralgia. Everything I have is atypical because it always miss a critical or a main vocal point of it, of whatever you need to, like, because the main part of BPD is that it's literally you go from wanting to marry something to wanting to die, and that's basically where my head goes, except I've already done all the therapy skills that they teach to de-escalate people with BPD. Like, I learned that on just normal survival because, I was just surviving. I mean, this is coming from the kid that was afraid of butter knives. I wouldn't be caught fucking 10 feet near it. I would see a butter knife on a counter and I would be like, I'm in the bathroom now. Leave me alone. I don't want to be anywhere near that thing. I had so many fears to protect me, and I think it kind of messed up, like, clear, picturesque stuff with diagnoses and stuff. I mean, when you think about it, a lot of people just keep going to a doctor until they hear the answers they want to hear, so that really gets into a gray area. But more or less, I'm just going to be chatting. Yeah. Where my head is at is, like, I go rapidly from, I should just delete everything I've worked for so I can regret it and then try to backpedal, but it's too late. Like, I'm halfway there, in a way. I just re-downloaded Discord. I deleted my Twitter, and these are just the apps. I didn't want to have any contact with the apps in case I don't know, BPD. Jump the gun on an emotional high or low. So Twitter, I still don't have. Instagram, I don't have. I do have Discord, but I haven't looked at anything. I downloaded the app, and that has given me enough anxiety where I'm like, I just want to delete the app again, but I'm trying to figure out where I'm at headspace-wise. Because whether I delete my channel or not never is the point. That's never the point of the breakdown. Jenta has nothing to do with why I'm upset ever. Well, okay, it might have been the start of why I got upset this time, but it's unrelated now. I'm just more or less, I had a good day. I'm feeling a low. I'm realizing I'm alone and that I don't really have any love anymore. And then I started questioning, have I ever loved anything? Or has everything just been like, I love you because I need you to help me survive? Because Mom couldn't sleep a night ago, and I had word vomited about a fear of mine, which is like, if anything were to happen to you, how do I even begin to start anything? Like, I don't have a plan. I don't know. Most people don't have plans, right? I don't know. Well, my mom's a workaholic and high functioning bipolar, the opposite mood spectrum of me. And she actually got to work. Like, anything I have ever, like, questioned, she goes and answers, and she puts the work behind it. And so she brought forward all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. This is great to know, but it's so morbid at the same time. But it's comforting, because I've never had to wonder or question most things that people with parents that aren't like my mom had to question. But it still kind of sucks because I haven't had, or at least I wasn't aware, I didn't have the opposite spectrum of, like, was this survival attachments? Or have I always been kind of hollow? Because I was very airheaded as a kid, but I was very intelligent in the sense of I was very aware, which most people are like, okay, one, you shouldn't be aware, and two, if you are, then you can't be in the category you're in. So I'm like, okay, well, where am I? And they're like, I don't know. Welcome to the early 2000s. Nobody knows. But that was still even late in 2010s. I'm gonna be rambling. I don't know why the chat doesn't want to show. It's weird. I have this chat. Oh, well, maybe I need to pop out the real chat. Ah, hold on. I'm so sorry. Let me pull out something. There we go. This is the chat I was supposed to be looking at. 16 minutes into a Meltdown stream. We got it. What am I looking at? Some other YouTuber came in. Feeling trapped in a loop. That also sounds like a panic attack, but I don't want to delve into that because that's I just Googled random thing, and I actually have things that have been studied in tests that are actually proven by the professional, which I always feel kind of ick about because people are only right when enough people agree that they're right. And that has really broken me realizing that. Because like with the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, because they've had psychologists, and this has been a long thing, psychologists interview Amber and Johnny to see if they can get a read on the psyche of whatever the two of them are going through. And yeah, depending on whose side you're on, it's very biased. And so you're like, how do you get an unbiased report? Because even when it's the most unbiased report, you still have that lingering like, oh well, they could be biased. And then it's like, well, how do you value the thing? How do you value the thing? I don't know how you value the thing. We are all wrong and right. That's weird. It's weird. I'm having a lot of meta thoughts, and they're not comforting. Anyway. How about I talk about where I'm at with, where I left off, I guess. So, basically, going back to the whole Amber Heard thing is, hi, R. Welcome to my Meltdown stream. Beans. I'm just going to be rambling. Don't mind me. This might get deleted later, or I might leave it up. I don't have really a good track record anymore. Or ever. I want to be squeaky clean and professional, but then I also die inside. I can't be one thing. I am three things at once. I'm a contradiction. Welcome to BPD. Yeah, trying to stay away from it. It's been kind of comforting and not entertaining, but insightful, because no matter how you look at it, it's fucked up everybody, man. Whether somebody is right or wrong, the fact that we as third-party viewers of the whole situation will never know for sure, regardless of how much proof, that fucks with me. Even when it's very obvious which side has more evidence, and which, you know, that conflicts with, like, if you have evidence but you don't have evidence, does that immediately mean you're guiltless, or you're the victim, or, right? And so it really starts fucking with you. You're like, so how do you prove you are right when the world can easily prove what you haven't done, so you're wrong? Right? It's like here, defend yourself for liking French toast. I can argue that I've never seen you eat any other breakfast food, so you clearly have a bias against French toast. i.e. French toast. I don't know where I was going with it. I had one, it was about something. I don't know. It's just, psychology is not fun, because to me that's common sense. I articulate it poorly. It's like it took me a little bit to register, like, that lawyers are basically, how do I describe this? I'm bad at words, especially in the state I'm in. Oof, boy. How do I grab this chat? I want to shove it on the screen. Copy and paste it? Beans. I don't know, man. Callie cried on stream. I saw that clip. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not particularly upset about any... Well, okay, that's a lie. See, I keep finding ways to contradict myself. I can't even start a sentence without being like, no, you're wrong. I can prove what you say has another truth. Where did the stream go? I lost it. Chat, YouTube comments, shove in here. Perfect. Will it show up? Oh, it's hidden. Well, that's a difference. I'm a dork. What happened exactly? Oh, nothing. Oh, hi, Kotaro beans. Just me trying to be introspective and failing. Yeah, it was a sweet quip. Blech. Okay. Let me try to go back to the beginning. What triggered Jenta being like, I'm going on a month-long hiatus? So, I was already in a dip 5 days before that post. So I had already melted down, but I had successfully, recovered and didn't, outvoice it. Basically committing to the breakdown is what I call it. I was like, all right, you kept it to yourself, you worked it out, you de-escalated it in your head, nobody else's issue, nobody else's... They no wiser. Problem is I don't like being alone. I'm starting to realize for sure. But I can't stand people. I can't stand people in the best way. Because I start to fear. And that's not something, like, you're trying to remove every trigger, basically. Every trigger. What are my triggers? Anything that triggers a fear response and a fight or flight response, which is anything that's a big question or the available option to say or do something. So that effectively means just shut down. Which I do as like my basic functioning core mechanic. So it's like, how do I shut down even more? And then I can't do it. I'm starting to do the opposite now that I'm older. Like, I had all these years as a kid doing what they tell you to do on instinct for BPD and de-escalation and, mental health. And I've already skipped straight to that step. But now, as I'm getting older, like, it's like I'm regressing. What I should have been like a child about, dumb and clueless and being like, question, I don't know the answer. It's the opposite now. I don't know how people do it. I didn't understand what it meant when it said, do you feel hollow? And I'm like, no, I feel like extreme emotion, like perfectionism to complete give up. And that's BPD. That is black and white from one extreme to the next. Bipolar, I hate to say, I don't know if you ever knew a woman who's PMSing or going through mood swings. That's bipolar. You literally go, they were happy 1 second, they're goofy the next, then they're all of a sudden very quiet, they start getting angry, and then they start, like, going on another emotion. It's all these emotions. Some people can go through the whole rainbow. Some people have, like, core emotions, like they'll go from sad, angry, to happy, to silly. I went bowling with my mom's best friend's adopted son who has major bipolar, and as a 9-year-old watching him go through a bipolar manic phase while bowling was like, even as a 9-year-old that doesn't understand it, like I know my mom has bipolar, but she's not a good example of it because she's very well controlled. Well, or medicated. I don't know. Anyways, he was the day I realized, oh, that's what that's supposed to be like. Oh my god. It was scary. That's just like, you can be from an extreme spectrum to like a very calm, and that's the same way. Well, supposedly, I don't think it works the same with BPD because it's kind of like a no questions asked. One was a mood-based like cycle spectrum, and then BPD is like, oh my god, they hate me. Oh my god, they love me. Oh my god, I said the wrong thing. Oh my god, everything is so dramatic. And I have done a very good job growing up and keeping that in a shell because words? I don't know. When I was a kid, I didn't think to talk about emotions outside of when you were asked, because if something was wrong, I'd tell you. Because I needed to tell people when something was wrong because I got sick easy as a kid. It's weird. I'm growing up backwards. I mean, we all eventually go back to baby, if you think about it. You go baby, adult, and then elderly, which kind of reverts into baby. Think back to yourself from last year. Oh my god. And I know you're trying to be helpful, but the problem is, so I'm a rare breed of cat. Oh god, I forgot I had my cat on. Okay, didn't mean the pun. I'm a rare breed where I am a contradicting lover of giving. My love language is giving to people. And you would think somebody who loves to serve or give to people would have a tolerance of any kind to receive anything back. Not me. Because that's kind of a bit of the BPD coming in, because you treat everything from a paranoid extreme scale. Hi, Ray! Ignore me, I'm having a little bit of a psychosis meltdown. Beans. What was I going on about? I don't know where my head was. Anyways, yeah, my love language. I love serving people. And I think that's why I broke down this time, was I went from the extreme of I wanted to serve me well and I wanted to serve other people well. And when neither of those two things were taking off smoothly, it broke me inside. And I couldn't compartmentalize? Basically put it in the back of the bin. I couldn't put it in the back of my mind anymore. And, after 5 days of a cool down, I had a recession of the same thing that happened, and then that's where the I'm going on a month hiatus came from. I just want to put a disclaimer on my channel and be like, I have BPD. Anytime it seems like I'm leaving, I'm coming back. Because that's it. That's what it is. I can't not televise my brokenness because it's a core functioning of my mechanical everything being. But at the same time, I feel so bad for you familiars, you guys that I recognize. You just have to live with knowing I existed and how I barely functioned. And that'll be in your memory. Hopefully not forever, but probably you will remember that anime girl that said thing somewhere, right? And that really hurts because I'm attributing in a negative when I only want to do a positive, but I can't live positive. It's not working that way. I just don't like positive affirmations at all. It's such a 4 years ago, I think I could actually listen to positive affirmations and not cringe. Now I can't. The paranoia is so real that I don't believe any of the words that get spoken. In fact, I hear the very opposite. It's like the fact that they brought this up means they thought about the first one, but they wanted to say the nice thing instead of the obvious thing. Like, girl, you need to just get over it. And the translation is just take some time. I can't take some time. I'm only on time. This is my life, like whether I'm streaming or not. Beans. To me, I'm kind of a distant... What? How do I read? To me, I'm kind of distant to any normal people. I had my own plans to get rid of my useless personality and alternate it into a fictional personality. Yes! I felt that on like so many spectrums. It's like, I have so many dreams and aspirations, and I feel like the few times where I've shined, where people are like, what? And those weren't like live streamed or anything. Those were actually like in calls, which have taken years to get used to being in a call with anybody. Still don't like it that much. It's Panic City. It's like something good could happen literally during the entire call, and I'm just thinking about the horrible thing that happened in the beginning, or the one word, or the joke that no one laughed at, or am I too loud? I don't know. What do people call it? Self-worth issues? Insecurities? Beans! When in doubt, just say beans. Wait, does the pop-out chat have to stay out the entire time to have it flow? Because it has been out. I mean, hey, if one thing ain't broke, it's the next. Anyway, my thoughts are scattered. I'm complaining about 7 things and none of them are matching. That's what it feels like. Sometimes it's complaining, sometimes it's constructive criticism, sometimes it's like a mad scientist breakthrough that doesn't quite hit. Ah! I only have one life problem. I'm too what? Beans. I get told that I'm too nice to people. I can't help it. My first thought is like, it's not even about you. When people say you're too nice. I don't even know how to begin to open up that can of worms. This is why I try not. I don't know what I try not to do. I'm just here. Wish I could donate to Jenta to help her. Oh, I don't need monies. Literally, my mom just figured out a death policy. I'm not joking. She figured out, like, oh, life insurance policy. And I'm like, I don't even think, the way you're talking about it, I don't even think I knew how this worked a minute ago. Do you guys know how life insurance policy works? Because I think we don't. Let's talk about it for a hot second. So, raise your hand if you thought a life insurance policy was, you hear about people trying to get money from an insurance because they murdered somebody. That's the first thought you have. Like, someone died, and because they have life insurance, the person who married them just gets money. And then you really need to think about it, and you're like, but wait, is it the insurance that's paying the money? Or are you somehow paying the money? But if it's insurance, that means they're covering you. But how does that work? Because that sounds too good to be true. And it is. So how it works is, basically they treat you like an old car, and they see how new you are, and if you've done anything recently to the car. Has it been in any weird places? Has it gotten any scratch or bumps and stuff? And then they value your current life, and you pay payments, monthly payments, like a phone bill, like healthcare, I guess. I don't know, some places that wouldn't work because people have functioning healthcare. We don't here. We have to pay for it. And it still doesn't function. So every month, kind of like a mortgage payment, you give them $100, the life insurance policy, and that builds up over time. Now here's the part that confused me. It made it sound too good to be true. What if you die? Like, how do you just decide a random big number of money that if this person just dies, their family is covered and then they get a chunk of change? That doesn't make any sense. Like, no wonder that gets scammed all the time, because it sounds too good to be true. Well, how it's supposed to work, I don't get. My mom didn't explain this very well. So, if you pay, it's kind of like retirement money, the fact that you put money aside your entire life that build up over time so that, you know, if and when you retire, you work off the money that you saved. Okay. But then my mom's like, well, if I suddenly die, it could pay off the entire house. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because you just told me they would probably evaluate your life only $50 a month. Hi, beans. We're talking about life insurance policy, Owen. It's getting real deep here. We're using all 3 of our brain cells rubbing together. So, like, either your life is worth $50 a month if you got, like, okay, change it to 100. 12 months you've paid, and then whoever has the policy, you know, life insurance policy dies. You would get only $1,200 because that's what you paid the life insurance policy. So then where does the big chunk of random money come out of? My mom didn't explain that. I don't think there is any big chunk of money, because that gives the person the benefit of the doubt that, hey, you're not going to do anything sketchy, are you? And just pretend to die and live off the money, right? Because I think that's the policy with the life insurance, is that if something drastically out of nowhere devastates the family and you're no longer here, then they'll pay out. But that's still too good to be true. Like, everything's a scam in America. So you're trying to think, okay, but how are they going to fuck us over? I'm like, this is both ways. Both ways can get so easily screwed over. I'm trying to figure out where the lie is. I think my mom got it right the first time, is where you make payments. And it's not just like you randomly take a policy out of somebody, because that needs to build time. Granted, okay, now that I think about it, if they evaluate you and you're healthy, they expected you'd be making payments for at least 25 years. So they would accumulate that and say, hey, if something unexpected happens less than 25 years from now, we'll pay you the 25 years because we evaluated you would at least last 25 years. Oh, that's what my mom meant. Okay, so that makes more sense. How do people think they can get away scamming life insurance? I don't understand. Because you gotta understand, our family, we already are sickies. We already are at, like, we have handicap points. I never understood what those were, like in Wii bowling and stuff, where they're like, do you want a handicap? And I'm like, I don't think that's something you can give out. Well, I guess if you run over somebody, but that doesn't make sense. Like, as a kid, I thought way too literally about stuff. That's not how it operates. Life insurance experts, most people not to die early, so they use the money that everyone who doesn't die give them to, oh man, too many brain thoughts there, Owen. That hurt to read. Life insurance is like a casino. You bet $50 that you are gonna die. If you live, you lose the money. But if you... Oh, you brought up a good point, John. That is another way of looking at it. I think my mom mentioned that. Because, yeah, it's like an agreement of some kind. It's like, if I can beat you to the races, I get a payout. But it's so obscured because you're not here, so it's not about you. I mean, it's completely about you. You're the reason why something's happening right now, but it's not about you. It's so weird. It's so gross. I'm like, this person's not even here to be like, yep, this checked out. Hey, beautiful alert. Mwah, I'm actually using the cat. Anyways, there's my thoughts on a life insurance policy. My mom looked into it, and yeah, that was their estimation, was she's only worth $50 a month. The first application. Which I can only surmise from here. It's the same way with applying for disability or any kind of government assistance. You basically have to keep convincing them or retone the ways and explain or add things to the list to convince. You're selling that you're right or that you have an argument. You got to do their work for them, in a way. This is so horrible. What are we talking about? Beans? Oh yeah, 1 month family. Thank you guys for giving me $1 a month. I seriously don't deserve it, but hey, emotes. If only the emotes were like you could use them on other chats, like for Twitch, then I would be like, I don't feel as bad, because then you can spread kittens everywhere. That sounds gross. $50 per month. Oh, great. We got Owen doing math. $600 a year. A lot of money for multiple years. Yeah, but the whole point of having this conversation with my mom is that I'm like, she doesn't have that long, yo. It's not a for sure number because all of her heart conditions have fluttered. They have gotten better and worse. And to the point where multiple times they're like, you don't need oxygen. Clearly she needs oxygen. They're like, you don't have pulmonary hypertension. You have pulmonary hypertension, which is not something that goes away. But, you know, Jesus, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. What's my cut in the afterlife? Hopefully the afterlife. I don't know. I wanted to get into, like, I don't know, what is it called? Buddhist? I don't know. I went on a short looking for an alternative to non-cult religions, and then I learned about, what is it called? Satanism? There's a difference between Satanism and the Church of Satanists. They're two different things, and I learned the difference, but I can't remember which is who and who is which. This world is so broken. How did we get here? Like, how is it the most scariest named religion is now literally overhauled? Just don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. That's the summary of their, like, 8 plights, is just don't be a dick. Meanwhile, like, you'll have every brand of flavor for just anything that has Jesus in it. Sometimes Jesus is removed and only his mother's a part of it. I don't know what that one's called, but I'm sure it has a name, right? So I'm over here like, fuck all that. That's cult-like. I want to get out of cult-like behavior. I'm like, so Buddhists, they're just being very zen. I like the whole zenness. And then there's Taoist. Taoist, they're adding a little bit of magic in the mix, which is like, I like to call it Buddhism with jazz. It's like, I'm not laughing at it because it's ridiculous. I'm like, hey, whatever makes you feel better. I definitely see the appeal more than any cult religion. Even with, like, what is it? What are they called? I'm bad at remembering names of religion because I'm not religious. What is the bad Taliban called, that religion? I keep wanting to say Hindu. That's not Hindu. Muslim. Oh, Muslim. That's what it is. Yeah, when you actually, like, learn about Muslim away from the extremist side, you're like, this is very zen. This is, like, How do you commit to this? Every 5 hours, you pray. And everybody just is so peaceful. And I'm like, how come nobody has ever exaggerated, like, the peaceful part? Only I've ever seen the bad part. It's like, it's so zen. I mean, I can't imagine waking up every 5 hours. No. I need at least 10 hours for sleep. How do they do it? I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but I respect it because it feels way less, well, it kind of feels like a cult in the sense of everyone's doing the same thing at the same time, but outside of it, it's like more of a, like, clearly a respect thing. Where, like, when Christian people get on their knees, it's like they're begging for their life, and that hurts. Like, anytime people cry in church, all I see is my mom being at the end of her rope and being like, well, I got no other options. That's all I see when I see that stuff. When people cry in church or on their knees praying, I was there. That's how I know it's real. You are literally saying, this is it. This is my last effort. I have no other cards. I am literally begging to the air. And it's so gross. It is so gross and manipulative and cult-like, and I hate it. I hate it. Like, I love that Buddhist is like, hey, let's just take a minute here and have, like, 20 minutes to get on board. Or that's Taoist. A little bit. I'm not an expert in any of these things. All I know is the things that don't make me feel like it's a cult, and I appreciate. I don't like forms of Christianity just purely because of the whole begging aspect. Because it literally is like, when they say cry out for Jesus, that is not a thing you need to advertise at all. That is blatantly telling you where your purpose is right there. I hate it. This is a song. That is one of the most popular songs. Like, cry out for Jesus. That's saying, I have no options left. And I'm like, I don't want to be reminded of that. I came here to feel better, not damned. Anyway, that's my little rant. Pray for myself, but not everyone in the world. Yeah. Why are you saying you're proud of me? I got nothing to be proud of. I've never had pride. Well, until the times I've had pride. And they've only ever bit me in the ass because it's overinflated for way too hot of a second, and then the BPD kicks in, and I go from a really good extreme to a bad extreme. I was told my entire life that I always contradicted. That was a big word my mom flew at me all the time, and it went over my head, and it's literally the best way of describing BPD is contradicting perspectives. One high from another low, black and white, contradicting things that clash, because you're like, okay, black and white makes gray. No, there ain't no gray line. The gray line was a trust fall. It's not really there. We just pretend it is there to make us feel better. You feel like debating me on this? And that's the part, I'm sorry, I didn't mean this to be a debate. I don't mean it to be like a negative aspect, because mine is purely emotional and not theoretical. If something has a negative association to it, that's the feeling I have towards it. Even though I am very curious, like I talked to my mom about biblically accurate angels, and she was able to find some. And it's like those nice little hiatuses where I'm like, this is what Christianity should be about, where we're like, hey, I found this weird thing. And she goes, that weird thing exists? And we look up the thing and we're like, oh, it is. And it's just that calm, because every other time it's like two brushes rubbing against each other. Not that heated, but, there's clearly not just that nicety of we looked up weird thing and it was like, oh, it is. That is like, I don't know how to begin. It's the sweetest candy coming to a neutral ground that doesn't spark a giant controversy or a long discussion. It was just like, look at this thing. It's crazy looking, isn't it? It's kind of pretty and creepy and scary. That makes sense why they were scared of angels when they first saw them, because that's a lot to take in. And I laugh at it in a good way, and that's what I want. It's like you poke jabs at things in a good way, because there's always all the classic shoehorned abrasions, like right? Isn't that the whole thing with like there's Jewish people, and then there's no, Jewish is not a faith, is it? I don't know. Anyways, all I know is about Jewish, they take away Jesus, basically. And then there's one aspect where, is it Catholicism? They focus on kind of like Mary, and they're not... Is Jesus recognized in that one? I don't know. And then broad Christianity in general is like, Jesus is somewhere in the mix. He kickstarted most of the operation. Before, I think it was originally all Jewish. But... Wait, so is it Jewish? There's Jewish people. What? This is like Sunday school prayer all over again. Oh no. They're like, did you do your homework? I'm like, this is the first day I've ever been here. What do you mean my homework? This is school? I'm here to play tag. Freaking Awana. If you know what Awana is, it's basically like... just one day, every Wednesday. Why is it specifically Wednesday? What's the point of Awana? And why is it called Awana? I always thought it was something Native American, but I knew it was church related because, well, hold on. Awana? Is it with an N? Awana? Nah? Oh, am I spelling it wrong? What's this? Awana meaning? It's talking about baby names. What? This isn't just an us thing. There's still signs places. Awana. Do I type in Christian? I'm curious. Where did I go for so many years? They're like, okay, do your Bible study homework. Here it is. It is a... What? Awana Christian. Awana is an international, non-denominational, Bible-centered youth organization in providing Wednesday clubs and programs for 3 years old through 6th grade. I don't even know how to say that word. The Arkrum Awana. Oh, they're probably saying the word Awana comes from the first letter of the phrase, approved workmen are not ashamed? Oh, it's an acronym? That's what they meant. Oh, that's what that... I didn't know that's what acronym looks like. I thought it was a bigger word that looks like acorn nymph. That's acronym. Wow, I didn't know that's how the word's spelled. Okay, so Awana is an acronym for Approved Workmen Are Not Ashamed. Wow, that's very... No wonder they never wrote that out. They just go, hey, you wanna win candy once a week? They had high school classes for mine, or like anything above 6th grade. I would win... Okay, weird story time. So basically, think of Awana is just... once a week art club, basically. Like, you just find your people. They half of it is Bible, well, most of it's Bible. Like, there's private Bible studying, and then they teach a lesson, and then you get like 15 minutes of like recess where you can like do... I don't think all Awanas do this, but mine did. I was invited by a friend, and then I leeched off her for the rest of my life. Because it's like, if you invite a friend, they'll give you candy, which I'm like, oh god, here comes the cult thing again. Don't make me invite people so I can get candy. You're going to teach me to lie just so I can get candy. That's gross. This is gross. Just be like, invite your friend. And I go, why? And they're like, because don't you have fun here? Boom, you win the argument right there. No, they're just like, hey, invite somebody. And I go, why? And they go, you get free candy. And I'm like, okay. Why do they make everything so creepy? Anyways, Awana story. We would get like these 15 minutes of recess where they'll do like baton races. So there'll be this big circle and we'll get into teams. And let's just say I've never been one. This is the only amount of pride I've had. The only time I've had pride is when I knew I do not fail, because in BPD world you cannot fail. You either are working or you have failed. There is no in between of being decent. That's probably why I'm struggling with VTubing so much. I'm in the middle. I'm like, I know how to be perfect, and I also know how to be trash and not know what I'm doing. But I'm in the middle. I'm just kind of like, teehee art. Anyway, so we get in these teams and we do baton rally races. And I was a kid that knew that every second counted and you had to push yourself. It made all the difference. I made sure I would always be the last person because I could already calculate by watching everybody go in that circle if we even had a shot. And if we even had a shot, I would still give it my all and it would surprise everybody. And it was the only good thing I was ever good at. And very, very rarely did my team ever lose to racing specifically. If they had a different activity, which I can't even remember, we probably wouldn't win, and I would always be deflated because I'm like, really? I come here to race, win candy for my team, and feel good about myself, then go home and like have this book I never bring. It was like a work journal for Bible stuff, and they knew I was a leech. They never questioned it. They're like, here's the toy bin, entertain yourself. It's just the weirdest memory I have. It's so adorable. Did I just not notice Jenta hairpins have cookie bite marks? Oh, really? Yeah, that's like a nice little detail Mio had. By the way, you guys are improving my mood. I am thankful for that. I came in here expecting the worst, and all I typed was beans, and I'm appreciating not being alone here. And that sounds like I'm keeping you hostage, and it's everything I'm against, but thank you. I'm so sorry. I try to live by my code, but I can't live by it. It's an unlivable code. You have to be perfect. You suck. That's what my brain is. It's like I can't quite get there. Oh well. Anyway, Awana. Yeah, that really speaks volumes. I totally forgot about my Awana days. That's the only reason I went to was the candy. The only lesson Awana had taught me was like something I thought they would normally teach like any kid. Where the only lesson I remembered, which was not... They shoehorned Jesus in it somewhere, but the message was very like, they should teach this in school, and I feel like they might have skipped over it. I think they might have taught in school, not every school. But basically what they taught... by the way, the pastor's name is Kirby, and I would always be like, oh, Kirby from Smash? And then just comes in some random dude, and I'm like, who are you? Every time! It took me years to figure out when they say, everybody give a hand for Pastor Kirby! We're like, whoa! And I'm like, who? Where is he? I don't see Kirby. That poor man. Anyways, I don't even know if he was the main pastor, but he did like a puppet show with some other youth pastor person, and the lesson they taught was, if you've ever thought about hurting other people, you need to think about that. Like, why do you have an urge to hurt other people? And you're like, what? Like, that's a big tone shift. Like, what? Hurt other people? Why would you do that? And then as he, like, you know, they do this whole skit where it's like Dora the Explorer, like, where's the mountain? Like, here's the scenario. And I'm like, this is so weird because I literally have a dream, a repetition dream, where I think it was my kid brain missing a step in life. I never did anything to nobody, but boy, did I get hurt and didn't know it. And I was just left kind of like, what the fuck? Am I normal? Is this normal? And the way other kids talked, I was like, what? Why are you like that? Like, how is that a question? So when he taught that lesson about if you think, like, even if you had an argument with somebody and you thought to, like, hit them or hurt them in any way, you needed to think about that. And, you know, Jesus is somewhere in there, but mainly you need to think about that and, like, ask yourself, why? I was like, that's the most introspective question ever. Because, like, I've never thought to ask why to questions I already had an unverbal answer for, which is, you don't hurt people because that's not what people should do. I don't want to be hurt, so I treat people the way I want to be treated, which is like a person. And believe it or not, there are people out there who don't know simple sayings like treat others how you would like to be treated. My mom is an example of that, but she's also a bad example of all of that because her parents did a shit job at being parents and she did everything right. She's still learning her animals. I'm catching her up. She's learning. We're teaching her childhood. Better late than never. But nobody told her those simple phrases. I'm trying to remember another one. Like, it took her 20 years to, like, figure out the jingle, every kiss begins with K, because it's K Jewelers, and kiss starts with the letter K, and just randomly, she doesn't watch TV either. She's like, oh, that's what that means? That's how I felt at the puppet show. I'm like, oh, people don't ask this question? Why, if you think about hurting other people, why do you think that way? I'm like, they don't automatically think those questions? They haven't already thought about all the right answers and done all the right things? Like, I assumed that because they got a different result that I was in the wrong in some way. I wouldn't, but that would be kind of like loosely formed. Like, I never thought I was wrong, but I never thought to think they were wrong because nobody would be wrong on purpose like that. And that's the care and consideration I didn't know most people operated on. They didn't think all these big questions when they were little kids and already had all these answers. Like, they're still learning not to hit each other. I'm like, what the fuck? You don't do that. You just don't do that because literally, here's a sad story. Well, not really sad. I felt bad as the older kid in this story that because I was hurt by the situation, I felt guilty that the punishment they had to have because of what they did. So basically, my next door neighbor, she's like 4 years younger than me. So think, not even 4 years, maybe 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. I was delayed learning, but I wasn't childlike. Like, I could get along with anybody. And she had her friend over, and she was gonna sleep over, and she, comes over with her friend, and this is like in the old days where you can go over to your neighbors and be like, hey, can so-and-so come and play? And they're like, yeah. So I go over there, and we're in a room, and I guess she's just feeding off the energy of her friend. I don't know what third wheels are yet. Like, I'm just happy to be included, kind of. Like, this feels strange because they have chemistry that I don't understand yet. And we're all children, but they're younger than me by a good chunk of years. Anyway, they get into, like, just roughhousing, and I'm not used to that. Or at least, I don't have nails. I've never had nails, and I've never been scratched before, but the girl I knew, my next door neighbor that I was good friends with, and I know her, and it wasn't like I knew her. She scratched me, and then when I was like, ouch, she kind of looked at her friend for feedback, and they both giggled, and then they pushed the boundary again, and she scratched me on purpose. That was a violation of everything I could understand at that point emotionally, and I tried really hard not to cry, and I left. I fled from that room holding back tears. And these girls were like 8 and I'm 12, so I'm older. But I'm like, how is it I have this emotional understanding, but we're still on the same world? Like, she clearly looked at her friend and was like, what's your feedback on this? Was that play, or is this pushing a boundary? So anyways, I go home, and I don't know if I start crying, but my mom's like, well, you need to go tell her, right? Because my mom knows from her bad childhood that anything that's left unanswered festers over time and will just haunt a relationship, and that's not how you do it. You confront the situation so you learn it. It's basically like Dora. It's like, where's the mountain? It's like, nobody confronts things head on. That's what my mom does. So I felt ashamed. Like, I knew she was right, but I'm like, I knew I was older. I just was coming out of that, like, child headspace of like questioning things that should just be like, they're just truths as is, but you start complicating the emotions. It's not just happy, it's like happy sad, happy mad. You get like mixed emotions. So we go over to her house, or I guess my mom does. I was so emotionally distraught by it that I no longer felt safe even going near her property. So my mom goes over there, and she's not mad. She knew her mom, so she goes and talks to her, and I still feel shame to this day that her mom clearly talked to her. She relayed the same information, like we were roughhousing, and she's like, well, she said she scratched you, and she has the scratch marks to prove it. And you know, that's instant, like, you know, you pushed a boundary and you were wrong for pushing the boundary. So her mom parades her over to my across the street to apologize, and I don't like forced apologies. She clearly was regretting it, like an honest regret, but it just was such a violation because I saw she registered it. She did everything right and still did the wrong, which confused my brain. I'm like, how did you still make the wrong choice? Because I know you're a good person and you're not dumb, but I just saw you violate both of those things in front of me. I have the physical proof to it. Anyways, she couldn't have her friend over. That was her punishment. It's like, you hurt another kid, so you can't have the sleepover anymore. And I felt so ashamed because I'm like, I'm an older kid. I should just, deal with it. Nobody had ever told me that. Nobody. And it's weird how that's pre-installed for us to shame ourselves for something that is clearly, like an easy, like, you did a wrong. Okay, here's the punishment, And I felt I couldn't play with her after that. We did. But I always lived that experience because I'm like, it's my fault that she got punished. She never blamed me or anything. It was clearly a lesson learned, but it still just really hurt. I'm like, people don't... That was the first time, I think, I really saw in real time somebody think the things I thought and then did the wrong thing in front of me. And I was like, really? But that's, some of it is like, you should know better, which, she knew better enough to, like, try to get permission by looking at her other friend, right? It just sucks that we have to relive the same lessons like that. But some people have to learn hands-on. Like, your actions have repercussions. And in my world, I'm like, I love hearing stories and I love learning things beforehand that when the thing comes up, I don't have to be traumatized by it. It's so weird. I don't know. What was that from a tangent of? I don't even remember. Natsuki! Oh, honey! I've been thinking about you, hun. Oh, I hope that's the Natsuki I know. I still have you on my Switch. Anyway. You heard it said, do not murder, but I tell you, even if you look at your brother with anger, you have committed murder in your heart. Ooh. Ooh. That's a good one. But it also becomes, it feels like a catch-22 because, you know, it's like, love thy neighbor. The petty part of me is like, but there's so many reasons why they have fucked us over. Like, everything's been a good experience. That's why my first thought goes to, okay, but where do you lose the benefit of the doubt? Because you lost the benefit of the doubt before this became an argument. You feel like you came in the wrong moment? Welcome, Gretchen. Don't worry about it. That's this entire stream. I named it Beans. Beans? Do you guys know exactly what cartoon I'm saying in reference when I say beans in that way? Beans? It's Centaur World. Man, watching the new My Little Pony movie back to back from Centaur World, you're like, I just heard this voice actor. Why does this sound the same? Well, that's because, you know, voice actors can do other jobs. I think it's the High School Musical girl. The Crystal Pony in the new movie. I don't remember her name. But she's Horse in Centaur World, which, by the way, watch. It looks like it's Happy Tree Friends, but it is the most PG thing ever, and it was a pleasant surprise. Like, the entire time I was watching it, I'm like, okay, when does this turn into Adult Swim? It never did. It's a kid's show. And it's the best representation of everything we could do in culture without it being just... It does it effortlessly. I loved it. I watched it again, one of the episodes. I'm like, what was that one where they were parroting YouTubers? What was that one episode? Like, I cringed so hard when I first watched it. The first 4 episodes of season 2, I was like, I don't normally form opinions, but I'm like, what is happening? But now I go back and rewatch it and I'm like, yay. Now I don't feel pain watching it for the first time and I enjoy it. But yeah, Centaur World. I recommend. Beans? Never heard of it? It's a Netflix original. Which, oh boy, let's not even get into Netflix. They're dying. They're shooting themselves in the foot, but like when you think about it, they have really nothing to lose. They really don't. I mean, there's everything tanked, but, you know, it's like with anything. Give it enough time, it's either going to stay dead or it'll bounce back or have a new, like, baseline normal, and it's not going to look as drastic on paper, right? It's turning into Hulu, Netflix is, basically. That show scared me as a kid. I never even watched it. When I was in the group Crisis Home for, like, teens, like, they cut off just at 18. There was this girl that kept trying to get them to play on YouTube, Happy Tree Friends, and it was, like, half the room was like, yeah, play it, and the other half were being, like, good kids, and were like, don't play that. It's like, if you know, you know. And they picked up on that, thankfully, because it's like, I don't want to be the asshole and outright say it, because I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but for the love of God, please don't put that on. We're in a teen crisis home for 4 days. That's not what we need to see is happy tree friends. I think they ended up, like, getting the vibe that, okay, we can't trust them for their opinions. I don't think we watched a movie. No way. I think they actually let us watch the cyberbully movie. That was a why'd they do that? Yes, it has a lesson to learn, but it's like, no. Maybe we should have watched Happy Tree Friends. I mean, we don't even have time to watch the whole movie, so they're like, by the time this gets intense, it's probably over anyway. I think. I don't know. Yeah. We are all candy believers. That is a beautiful one right there. I don't know why the chat's still not adjusting itself. Let me see if I put it away and put it back up. No. Hey, if it ain't one thing that's broke, it's another thing, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that no matter what I do, I will floss so much it'll make me cringe inside. Cheers to that. I am an adorable kitty today. I am an adorable kitty today. I am an adorable kitty today. How many iterations do I have? Oh no, I'm human. What? Oh, whoops, I dragged it too much. I am now human. What are you gonna do about it? Okay. Okay, be honest. Kitten Jenta, idol Jenta, preference. Be brutally honest. Be brutally honest. Or Loli Jenta, if you've been here that long. Loli Jenta. Sounds gross. Basically, almost, is it child Jenta? Child makes you think of someone younger than Jenta. Jenta is right on the percups of being outside of the Loli spectrum, which is once you hit puberty, you're outside of the Loli spectrum. Preference, yes. Ah! Well, the human with cat ears and a tail and fangs. Loli Jenta is cute. Yeah. I admire the simplicity of the model. Like, before it looked like magic, but as things have gotten older with time, you're like, wow, we're advancing too fast. Can we please, like, go back? I need to catch up. Did you see that one person that has, like, a fully functioning, like, game controller that tracks their hands? That's too much. Stop being amazing, please. I have to get my basic rigs up in order. Yeah. I've been shaming myself from opening up Live 2D. Half because my internet doesn't work all the time. Which, I don't know. I'm very thankful, Vegeta, that you agreed with a silent thing I never said out loud but was hoping somebody would say, which is, I didn't believe you were cursed, but I'm starting to believe you're cursed because this is adding up. And I'm like, yes, finally somebody else said it, and I didn't encourage it or anything. I am cursed. Something will go wrong and it'll destroy me. We got the alerts, so I can be thankful for that. Now the only thing we don't have working stream-wise, for some reason, desktop's being weird. Like the desktop audio. But I think that's just a matter of finding the priorities. Properties? Which one is it? Default? What device is it even on? Is it default? Oh, that was the okay, it wasn't on default. Okay, well, I fixed that. Hey, look, I solved one problem. Let's see what new one I made. Like, this is the BPD coming in. It's like every problem I solve is another one I make. So what's another issue I have? Let's see if we can go 2 for 2. Chat. Okay, so this is the chat. All I have to do is copy and paste the actual chat box, which is this. Actually, let's close it. Let's open the chat box again. Let's see if we can get the chat to work. That'd only make me happy. We can't have me happy. It'll make me sad. Too real. Delete, and then paste, and then close. Did I get it? Is it recent? Let me see. Is it? I think it froze. I think it updated, but it froze. So we're having... Who said Natalie? Who? But Reality Jenta is for Natalie. Oh, yeah, Reality Jenta is a... Hey, it's moving! Hey, I fixed it. Alright, what's else that is a problem? What else can I fix? What else can you help me fix? I guess the sounds... Wait, let's click the alert. Oh, yeah, they work. You probably can't hear them that well because I messed with it so bad, so... Volume warning. I'm going to put this at crank. So volume warning. Volume warning. I don't know what the subscriber one says anymore.
Yeah.
What does it say? Does it say subscribe? Alright, I'm going to mute it so I can... oh, it won't probably let me open it. Let's see if I can, though. Alert box. So that was a follow notification. Subscribe. YouTube subscribe. Now they actually have it. Oh, it says nya. Oh, I say nya. Oh, that's what. Okay. Wait, do I actually make a cat meow or do I go nya nya? I don't have many sound files. Oh, it says nya. Okay, 2 for 2. Hey guys, after this stream, I'm gonna lose internet and be depressed. It'll happen. We fixed the dongle, but it just decides randomly, like, it doesn't want to be the same as it was 2 seconds ago. It hasn't cut off the stream. So, I mean, it didn't... it's a question mark right now. It's a strong question mark. What else do I got going on? I don't know. Okay, unrelated. I thought of the word Vegeta, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball lately, and then frickin' Wubby made a video just recently, a stream highlight video, of like, name this game character's bulge. And I'm like, the only one they didn't get, I immediately knew it was Frieza, because I'm like, I'm reading that fan fiction right now. I'm digesting all of that content. Like, I could tell you what fucking game that came from, probably. It was just an anime still, which, it was game characters. You had to use DBZ, but you didn't. You failed. I want to get the game. I really do, but I don't want to hate it, because it's no longer on sale now. Like, I've already watched the entire gameplay. I'm so bad at Street Fighter games. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. My first experience with Street Fighter outside of an actual arcade game that I hated because I didn't understand anything I was doing would have been Naruto. Naruto did the exact same, like, Street Fighter 3D fighting game where you had all these combos and characters and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah. Like, I'm watching people do really, really good gameplay in, like, fighting, like, event bosses at, like, level 100, like, Smash level kind of a thing. And I'm like, I'd cry at the first level, and you make it so easy, it would make my existence pathetic. I'm like, how am I supposed to play a game when I already feel bad about it? How do you be gamer when you are shamed for being bad gamer? It's like, you have to be bad gamer ironically. I'm like, I'm not even bad gamer ironically. I just fear. I blame the PlayStation 2. Every game on there. Crash Bandicoot. That one I don't know the name of, but it also scared me. The freaking Muppets Cruise game. Though I had weird video game fear. And I think it's a part of being on the autism spectrum. because you're so hypersensitive. I have SPD, sensory processing disorder. So you either overreact or underreact to stimuli. And when it came to video games, I literally would get absorbed. Like I would get sucked into the screen of the game, and it was scary. Like anything that would happen to my character was like a personal attack. It was weird. It was like this giant dissociation, and it was always out of fear, because I'm like, if my character gets attacked, I will be attacked in real life. Man, being a kid is stressful. Oh no. Frieza Frieza is iconic, but I'm like, if I hadn't been thinking, would I have known? Probably. 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 Oh man. My guilty pleasures. Oh boy. Okay, good night, Owen. Thank you for keeping me company as long as you did. What was I talking about? Oh, Corpse Party. That's what I was looking at. My eyes are just going blurry, cross-eyed. Are you allowed to play the Corpse Party game when it comes out? Oh, there's another one coming out? Or are you talking about the one I VA'd in? Because, oh boy. I know I am my worst critic, but hearing it back, I just remember recording it. And it was clearly like, as somebody who recorded the lines, I'm like, I sound like it's nighttime and I'm trying not to wake up anybody. And that's exactly what it was. I was obsessing over doing it so right that I buried it in the ground, because the whole part of voice acting, that from the good from the bad, that differentiates the two is if you sound dead or you sound like you have emotion and tone. Like, tone is a big key, like getting the beats, but then having emotion is very important, right? Like, you'll see like Juby Pop or something, some kind of like weird off-brand Otome game, and they'll have like really dead flat like voice acting, and that makes you go, okay, now I can say something's bad. I never knew something was bad before. That's kind of how I feel. Like, compared to the guy that was doing the VA, I'm like, damn, he just stands out completely. He's so good. I'm like, I sound like I'm trying to be quiet. And it was because I had nailed it so much into the ground that I had lost the ability to hear how dead I sound. But hey, I'm proud that even came out as a preview. I'm grateful for that, because I was like, this is the paranoia coming in. I'm like, I'm the one that messed it up. I'm the reason why they halted their progress. I probably made them so depressed that I sucked so bad that they wish they could have hired anybody. It wasn't hired, it was volunteer, right? Like, for those of you that aren't in the VA world, I'm not even anymore. But Corpse Party is the hardest franchise in any fan community dub of any kind to get cast, because there'll always be somebody better at you, because for the one thing, you have to scream and you have to have like blood-curdling emotion. If you can't even do the basic of scream without it sounding like, ah, like that, like whisper toned, you're not getting the part. Somebody's already doing the job better than you, so don't even bother. So the fact that I even got a role, I was elated. I was elated. I was so elated. I was so happy. I'm like, I was finally not the worst. And that's how I complimented myself. I'm like, I wasn't the worst. But I'm like, you sure as hell weren't the best at all. I got lucky. Because what always usually happens for like really popular fan communities that get dubs like that, a lot of people will see Corpse Party and then audition, and you'll have to fight 40 people versus like a normal project that's probably like an original work on a VA site, and nobody wants to read it because they're like, well, it's an original work. It's like, you would think a VA would welcome freeform. No, this is like giving no prompt to artists. There are select few artists out there that are like, oh yeah, I love having all of this infinite possibility. And some are like, can you at least tell me like one word? Like sparkle? Because you'll get, like, trapped in the paralysis of analysis of, like, what the hell do I create for this person that just commissioned me? They didn't give me any prompts, right? It's finding the balance. Like, I always think about how the other person would respond to my words, and it's still not even bomb proof. There's not one conversation that goes by I don't eventually go back and be like, why the hell did you say that? You pain me, child. You are not child. You are adult now. Get over it. What'd I miss? You didn't miss anything. I went on a tangent about brownies. I don't know. You know, the sad thing is, I just realized I locked Dreamy out of my room. She had a little bit of diary due. And I'm like, if I'm going to have a meltdown stream, in case I cry, I don't want Dream in here because she gets visibly upset and will paw at me because she has learned to be an emotional support dog. Whether she knew she's doing that or not, I feel so bad she is my child. I feel so bad. She is like me in every way. It took her 3 years to get to full dog, and we embrace it. It's like we didn't shame her for not being a dog. We probably welcomed it. Like, she had to learn how to bark and then growl. That came way later. And my favorite part was, like, going to the dog park. And, oh my god, I saw Nala! Oh, she looks so old! Okay, a little bit going back. So, when Dreamy was a puppy, to go to the dog park, the public dog park, your puppy has to have all of its shots, it has to have a valid license, or you have to have the tag at least in your pocket, because I like that people don't just necessitate straight to a collar. They're like, there's a lot of harness people, because thank God, like, it makes sense. Like, when you leash your kids on a backpack leash, you don't put it around their neck, you put it on the backpack. That's a body restraint, not a neck restraint. Like, Bedoy. Like, there are some dogs where they need to have a choke collar or something, but then it's still, like, anyways, regressing. So when she was old enough to go to the dog park, God, the first 2 times, I would have to always take an Ativan. I was so anxious, because that was, like, the biggest social thing I could have ever done, because there's so many people there. And it's like a new dog park, basically, and it's so big and clean and nice. We would bring Dreamy, and she'd be like the creme de la creme. She's like, I can dog, I run fast, I wear a dress, I'm so cute. Like, clearly she was living up the puppy life. She was doing everything. It was never like a skittish thing. She knew to come to us, but she also, liked to swim in mud, but she avoids it now because she learned being wet is like cold. Being wet is cold. She's like, I don't want a bath. Like, she did everything right. She's not a dog that bolts for no reason. You know, the dogs where you're like, the moment you look away, they're gone, and you're like, oh no, they're gonna get hit by a car. And Dreamy's not. She stays. She's only just now learning to push the boundary of, like, I want to go to that person because I know I could, even though I know I'm not supposed to. Like, she's doing this whole process, and I can see it. She's very much my child. She's late to it. Anyway, so when we first started bringing her to the dog park, there was another puppy there, and we had gotten to know the guy because it wasn't his dog, and Dreamy looked like their dog at home but was a senior and does not want to do the puppy life thing. Like, I'm sleeping, get this thing to go to the park, please, right? So it was this Yorkie, and we thought Dreamy was a Morkie, but she's actually a Bichon Frise Maltese mix. What's that called? Maltishon? She's a Maltishon. Now we know. So we don't know why she was ever called a Morkie. I don't get it. So, because I heard, Nala is like a typical Yorkie, and she's a girl, and Dreamy's a sweet little girl, and they're the same size. They're almost the same age. I think Nala is just a couple weeks older than them. They have like this puppy bond, and they know they're the same age, and they played with each other. Like, Dreamy doesn't have puppy tolerance anymore at all. She's like, I could be the puppy, you can't be the puppy. She clearly has like not it out for puppies, but like the puppy's still learning social boundaries and stuff. Like, they push the limits. Dreamy's like, I learned my lesson, why haven't you? Like, respect boundary. Anyways, we recently got to see, I hadn't been outside in months, and I finally got to go to the dog park with my dog, because my mom takes her to the dog park for me a lot of the time. And I'm like, I don't even recognize her. Also, Annie, welcome. I don't even recognize Nala, this cute little Yorkie, because she used to have like a full black coat with some like dark brown. She was like obviously a Yorkie puppy. Oh my god. I didn't recognize her. She looks like an old lady. She's already graying. She's clearly way less energy. She's a little bit more reserved. And the only reason I even was like, is that Nala? Because she was clearly like a reserved dog. And then Dreamy greeted her, and then they had like a moments of like, oh, I remember you. And then, Nala was like, where's my dad? And went back to her dad. And then I looked at him and I'm like, wait a minute, I recognize you. If anything, if I can't recognize the dog, I recognize you. And if Dreamy, I'm like, what? She's so old, guys. She's only 3 and she looks like an old lady and is acting like an old lady. Wow. I hadn't seen her probably for a full year. She looks like an old lady. Oh my god, she acts like an old lady. And I'm like, I don't need to know this. It's only been 3 years, but to a dog that's like 15 or something. Oh my gosh. That's my mom's Great Dane. Oh my gosh, Great Danes. They're the most intimidating dogs. Most of them don't mean harm, but oh man. Scary. Anyway. Why the fuck do we grow up? Why do we grow up? I don't want to grow old. We're old. There ain't no stopping time. Anyway. I think I'm petering out. I think I got to a better place of mind. I was expecting this to go sour, hence why Dreamy's not in the room. I was like, hey, if I cry, let's just like, okay, more validation to the paranoia and just like, I don't know. Pretend it didn't happen and commit to the month hiatus. So, I still don't have all the apps downloaded. I'm just gonna leave those statements up. If you see me, you see me. And if I disappear, you know why. Basically. I'm just fluttering about. I can't. If there's one thing you can rely on, I'm unreliable. That is a horrible thing to say as a perfectionist. Gosh, I used to keep all my promises, and now it pains me every time I say a word and it's not factually 100% true. Bruh. I love when young people complain about getting old. Gretchen, you're not old. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I think everybody's my age. Or like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think about age. I'm like, are you being nice or creepy? Those are the only 2 spectrums. You're being nice? All right, you're a person. Let's go. It's like when you hear people say age is only a number. I'm like, yeah, but are you saying that for the creepy reason? Because if you're saying that for the nice reason, i.e., I don't shun a child when a child could use, like, companionship, right? But if you're saying it because you're creepy, fuck you. People like things. You'll be 60? What? Bro. No, you're not. Everybody I ever know in chat is a young bean. What? I don't believe you. Really? How in the world did you get here? That is a surprise. You know what this feels like? This feels like when my best friend, the one that scratched me, neighbor girl, her dad, when she got into anime and was cosplaying, he was so supportive and just took her everywhere. And he's like a normal dude, and he's just like got all the money. He buys her knives at conventions, like legit katanas and blades. Like these things cost $300, and they get multiple. It's crazy. Anyways, we were all cosplaying like Black Butler together as a group because it was a Black Butler themed convention that year, and because I was the oldest, he would talk to me the most, probably to give time for the other kids, because, you know, they're just having fun. He doesn't want to drag anybody down. But he's cosplaying with us. He's cool. He's hip. He's awesome. And we're talking, and, you know, all these other cosplayers are walking by, and he's like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't that, like, from that one anime, right? And, you know, not every anime is say-so, you know? I think it was Roserno plus Vampire or something. Like, that feels PG these days. Ugh. But it was, like, one of the more, like, fan servicey at the days, older anime. And he was like, isn't that the school uniform for that? Like, he genuinely couldn't tell. And I'm like, that's not from that anime. And we debated back and forth. And I'm like, well, if you think it is, you can go and ask for their picture. And he goes, no, I can't do that. I'm an old guy. That's just weird. And I looked at him, like, honestly, I'm like, I'm the second oldest person in this room. I'm like, it's not weird. This is an anime convention. And then I had to really think about it later, and I'm like, wow, that's really sad that we, you know, they have to think about that sometimes, because, you know, him is not creepy. He is a good dude. But yeah, in retrospect, I guess, because he's really fucking tall, too. Oh my god. Just comes up to you and asks, hey, what anime are you from? Oh, okay. And then he walks back, and I'm like, you didn't ask for a picture. And he goes, yeah, they weren't from the anime I thought. And I go, it probably doesn't help your argument. I don't know. Social awkwardness is so relatable, and I'm just like, oh, buddy. You're gonna buy your daughter a knife. I already know. Jeez Louise. He bought the worst car. I had to put my foot in the door and say, hey, I'm a bigger person, and this is a really, I didn't say it this way, but I'm like, this is a really shitty plastic tiny little beep beep car, and there are 4 children here. Can I be in the front seat? Not because I want to, because I actually hate the front seat. It is so stressful. I hate it. But I was crushing the other girls in the back. I'm like, I had to ask, and it feels like such an unspoken rule that, like, don't ask for the front seat. That is clearly for the people who deserve it or something. And I'm just like, I don't want to crush them in the back, but I feel like if I ask, you know, just all the thought process that goes into everything I do is absurd. But I guess that's probably how he felt when he was like, I don't know what anime they're from. And I'm like, well, just ask. And he did. He was probably, I don't know. He went to an After Dark panel, and I felt jealous because I wasn't quite there yet. But it was weird because there was an unspoken hierarchy where, because I was the oldest, I should have been like the adult, but I didn't know because I was mentally child. I wasn't like even, what, 16, 15? Anyways, I ended up in the game arcade all night with one of the other girls, and it was like nighttime, and it goes 24 hours because it's attached to the hotel. And he had to come. He woke up. I think he texted my phone. I didn't respond because I'm communing with the other night members and talking to the girl I should have been chaperoning the entire night. And I didn't know. It was a space of innocence. And you could tell he was like, really, I had to come down here for this? You should know better. He never said it, but that's clearly what he felt. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I failed at the only task I should have known unspokenly. I failed. I didn't know how to be an adult. I didn't know this. Like, it wasn't said. He never said, okay, make sure you have a curfew. But, you know, as probably I'm 4 years older than these girls, I probably should have, in some capacity, knew there should be a curfew. It was only just the one girl. The other two were, you know, you young when you say, I tired. I go bed now. Bye. Willingly at a convention that's like $60 for 3 days. Like, nah, we milking this till we smell. I didn't know conventions were supposed to smell, by the way, but it makes sense. I can explain why they smell, too. What's your favorite anime? Oh, don't even get me started. I ranted to myself the other day about Black Butler and the state it's at in the manga. We're not even gonna open up that hole. I'm gonna make a whole separate side stream about, like, what is Yana doing? I want to criticize her, but I love her and I don't want to come off as negative, but I'm, like, concerned. Yana, do you want to be here? Yana Toboso, why is this, like, being dragged out? Did you already plan to have this end by now, or are we just, like, pandering for time? I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It's so sad when you have a valid criticism, but you don't want to hurt an artist's or author's feelings, so you just are like, no good thing, you keep quiet. You don't speak, right? But it's a valid criticism. I'm like, why the hell has it been 3 years and we are not even talking about the twin? That is the main plot point right now, and it's been for like 3 years. Why aren't we getting back to it? Because, like, I understand the person aspect behind it, and that's why it sucks. Like, how am I supposed to say, you know, hey, you're professional, and I know you people, so, like, what's the in-the-middle answer? Because, you know, publication and all that stuff, you get censored on what you can and can't say, I'm sure. But then you kind of, like, look at the guy who did Berserk, too. He clearly was on, like, a good scale, and then it just dwindled with time, and as did his health, and then when he passed, it ends there. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen with Yana. Unlike the Berserk author, Yana's kept to, like, a consistent schedule, very rarely divoting from at least once a month, if only once a month, or a little more than a month. Which gives me Steven Universe vibes, where they're just milking it. The 12 pages, like, the art is worth it. I love watching and looking at her art improve more and more. It's so perspective. It ain't flat. It ain't no Naruto, like, here's your chapter today. Here's your weekly chapter, bi-weekly chapter. Like, everything Yana does, she's like, because this takes so long. Or he or she. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are. It doesn't matter, but, you know, I try to be correct. It's hard. Anyway, I'm just like, why is it taking so long? I love you, but what's happening? Where are we right now? What is happening? What is happening? Do you want to be here? Are you dragging it out on purpose? Like, I already knew what the original intent of the manga was supposed to be. And that one of the biggest plot points was already canon from way back when. She just had to wait to finally be able to put that in there if it was going to still be a major plot point. And it's just like, she's moved on, or they've moved on to other projects. Like, they literally are the artist for a Disney side dating game app that's only in Japanese, and its art is fantastic. I don't know anything else about it. It's like Wicked Disney, or Darkness Disney, or Wonderland Disney, Wonderland Dark Disney. It's Wonderland themed in a way. It's clearly like a dating guy game-ish kind of, I think. I have not checked it in so long, but the art is just so beautiful, and I'm like, yeah, that's Yana. That's their art. But I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you want Black Butler to die? I just want to know from an unfiltered perspective. Are you done? Do you still care about it? I just want to know, do you still care? Because it feels like you still care, but I don't know for sure. And I just wanted a clear answer. clearly, you know, they care or they wouldn't be doing it. I feel like a lot of mangaka artists, they either keep working at something or they just respectively like back off of it. What's a good example? I don't really have a good example. Like, Berserk died with the author and illustrator. Yes. And I feel like that's like something that's commonly respected. I don't have an instance where I can think where an author illustrator died and then they disrespected the person in death by taking their creation, even though they might even have all the rights for it, and then, you know, adding to the story, finishing the story, doing whatever the fuck with it, right? Meanwhile, in America, we're like, we don't care if you've been dead for 183 years. We're gonna CGI you into our Bitcoin. And I'm like, that's so nice. They treated the Berserk guy with respect. There's a 3.5 like whole digest review series I bookmarked. I'm like, I'm gonna figure out what the heck this series is about, because I just respect that they let it die with him, even though it was slowly dying with time. I still know nothing about it. I don't know anything about Berserk. The art is crazy. Highly detailed stuff like that is amazing. You don't get to see that often. It just sucks when authors and artists burn out, because it's so relatable and you want them to succeed and you want to tell them positive affirmations, but then there's me who loves giving affirmations, but if you say them to me, I get offended. So I'm like, okay, treat others how you want to be treated. I don't want you to tell me the words you say, but let me tell you the words you say to me so I can tell them to you so you feel better, but I feel worse. What in the heck kind of like what? I'm broken. Wasn't there some Disney anime like thing that's evil girls? Sort of like the Winx Club? Oh, that could be a number of things. Where they were bad fairies. Ooh. Is it a Japanese specific? Because that's the weird part. Japanese Disney is completely different from anywhere else Disney. And it's wonderful. Because, like, the fact that Yana is the artist and, like, main important person. Like, they specifically went, that's what we want. You know exactly where they've come from, what they do. Like, their manga was going to originally be a BL. And then the publisher went, wait, this has potential. We need to maybe, like, backseat the BL a little bit so we can make this, like, an everywhere project. Where, like, the project she's working on now, the app is, like, I'm sure there's gonna be references about BL somewhere, because you can't with those handsome boys. They always do it. Little bit of bromance, and you're like, oh, heck yeah. Just like, they already have the background for doing that, and they're an artist that, so I'm like, never. Not America Disney. Not America Disney at all. You're gonna get an offhand mention in a live action, not even in the background. Basically, think Belle. The Belle live action Lady and the Beast, or what? Lady and the Beast? Beauty and the Beast? That sounds like Jenta. What do you mean? Oh, you mean my country? Yes, I am me. I'm much cat, yes. Don't watch anime, read manga. Oh my god, yes. Pat did a video about binge watching and how it's killing everything. And I'm like, yeah, you made all the right points, but if I quite literally couldn't digest it in a binge, I can't stay for the burnout. Steven Universe has ruined that for me. Anything that's a slow burn, I feel actual physical pain. When you love something so much, but it drags you, like, it drags you on the road for 50 miles. You're like, I love you, but you hurt me. That's not normal. I mean, in the context of fan content and stuff, maybe, but, like, Not as a main series. Like, we haven't even gotten the story properly out. Anyways, what are we talking about, Berserk? It has, I want to say, 24 to 25 episodes? What? Oh, you're talking about Parasite. I think I know that one. I love psychological manga. Oh my god. Yes. It's so delicious. Because I love how they take psychological, mystery, and horror, different genres. You can type it, you can click the genre psychological and get anything from a mystery to a horror mystery to just horror to just psychological, or some manga where it's not even psychological and you're like, they just threw this in here and I feel kind of offended. Psychological is the best because it's like thought-provoking in some way. It's literally a tag that necessitates you need to grab me at some point or I'm leaving. This is like short attention span, give me good content. Yes, give me good content. Oh my gosh, I love psychological so much because it makes you use your brain. Think. Think, Mark, think. He doesn't say think twice, but you get the reference. Anyways, Berserk is such a sacred series. Has to say the manga is great. Well, I will try to read a few chapters if that is true. I know the art is nice. It is not really an art style that I'd be like, ooh, eye candy. It gives me Uncanny Valley of like Attack on Titan vibes, where the anime, I really like the art style. The manga is clearly like a little bit more, you know, you got used to the anime, so you went and read the manga and you're like, it'll take me a little bit to not see how detailed everyone's skin is. And then you're like, okay, I'm on board. It's like superficial markers like that. You're like, I'm here for the story. I'm not here for every vanity mark because people work hard. People work hard. We deserve to love them. Don't worry, Jenta. The first part of next month, I'll be binging one. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Even I know that's like, at least Naruto ended. Bleach is ended. Bleach has been ended for a long time. I feel bad for Bleach. I at least understand the concept, I think, loosely. When I hear One Piece, I only think of the 2 episodes I saw on Adult Swim, and I can't think of... I think they might have been filler. Because I'm like, that didn't accurately represent the anime at all. But I was curious because I'm like, I have so many questions and no answers. Okay. But isn't that all what One Piece is? Is I have 100 million questions and there are no answers. Like, there's the general goal of Luffy wanting to be the king pirate and get the treasure, and then everything else happens instead of that one part. They haven't even gotten close. That's all I know about One Piece, and I think it's hilarious. I'm like, it's still alive. Even Naruto had to say, I'm out. One Piece, you win, you slow burned your way to here. We even had to kickstart a series into another series into another series. You got Naruto Shippuden, and then Boruto. One Piece has stayed consistently One Piece. It hasn't broken up, from what I know. I admire that. I've never been bitten by the One Piece bug. One Piece gives me the same vibe of Fairy Tail. I almost confuse them sometimes. Like, when I see them, I know the difference. But when I'm thinking about it, sometimes I picture the wrong characters next to each other. And I go, that's not from that. That's not from that. I don't know what either of their names are, but I know it's not from that. I get confused. Same thing with Fairy Tail. I went to indulge in it and didn't last very long. And I don't, like, dislike anything. It's just... I think those are just one of those instances where I had a short attention span and I wasn't immediately grabbed. Which is rare because I don't like trying new things. Bleach manga ended, but the anime What?! The anime hasn't yet? Please tell me that's like one of those, like, it's just stuck in purgatory things, right? Like, that's more common of, like, a manga to anime trope where, like, even Attack on Titan, didn't it just end? I haven't even caught up with it. I saw what I needed to see 5 years ago. Not 5 years ago. Wait. Oh, wow. Yeah, I got sick around. I was still in school. Yeah, 5 years. Wow. Attack on Titan's old. It took them a dog amount of years to get to the point, but I already knew. I don't know how it ended. If it ended. I mean, I got the crescendo part of the entirety of it, and I went, okay, well, this is just going to lead in more, more characters you love are going to die, and then there's going to be a thing, and then in conclusion. Hi, Kroll. Welcome to the stream. Black Clover is one I've heard, but I don't know anything about. Because every time I hear Black Clover, I think Black Butler, and that's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Attack on Titan will finish this year with part 4 of... Oh my god, part 4. Gotta milk it. Gotta milk it. I get it. I feel ya. My goodness. Yeah, bet. Oh, that's gonna be weird out of context. Ah! But yeah. What else is interesting? Ooh, you gotta love it when you read a manga of something, it gets an anime. The anime didn't really necessarily, you're like, okay, this is only 12 episodes, so it's not gonna get every detail that you loved from the manga, and it's probably gonna shoehorn, out things and in things. But when the anime opening comes in and you're like, banger. Whoo! What's the anime manga series now that is about Mirako something? She sees a lot of ghosts and spirits and stuff, and they're the most meat cannon looking monstrosities, and she just pretends not to see them while she's collectively freaking out. That opening slaps. I can't remember what it is, but she just literally is going, yamete, yamete, mo yamete. She's basically saying, please, please stop, please stop, please, please stop. And it's so catchy. Bye, bye, bye. Oh my god, it slaps so good. And the art, I'm like, you clearly could have taken this in like easy directions, and you took it in a creative direction, and it worked. I just appreciate those. I can't speak Portuguese. I don't think that's what you said, but no Portuguese. I don't know if that's Portuguese. If you're new to the community, I could recommend some. Which community? The manga community? Define new, because I'm more of like anime and manga is so normal now that nobody's a freak for knowing it exists anymore, and that's lovely. I'm what is it called? A niche. I'm more of a niche indulger, I think. I will find a hill to die on with a good read, but then I will disappear for months and be like, well, I'm done with anime manga genre in general. See you. I'm gonna read fan fiction. Oh, is it Komi-san? Komi-san? Eh? Oh, Abdul. Ah, okay, I'm sorry. I can't keep up. My brain don't work. But yeah, there's I really fight to find a good series to watch or like read mainly now. And I'll binge it. Ooh, actually, okay, I got a bounty. Somebody help me if you know what this is. Please, please tell me. I can't find it for the life of me. I even type it in Google as it is. I'm about to describe it, and I can't find it again. It was recommended by the Anime Man in one of his manga reviews for, like, the month or the year. I can't even find the video anymore. And it is a manga series where the person has DID. It's a girl, she's a school student, and she just wakes up, and there's a different personality for every day of the week. And they have to write in a journal, and they're like, hey, Tuesday, hey, Monday, hey, Wednesday, you butthole, you didn't write in the journal, I'm gonna kill you next week. And it's like, that's not how DID works at all. But it was I love the way they did all of it. I love the art style, I love the story, and then I lost it because every manga pirating website gets banned every 3 days, and then I lose my entire playlist. And I'm like, I can't find it. I don't know where it is. I typed in DID manga, and it's dissociative identity disorder. The manga doesn't do that disorder justice in a way, but I really enjoyed what I did read. I think it hit a chapter, like it was still actively updating. Like it was very new, so like in the past, not even like 4 years old. But yeah, if you know what that is, please just send me a link. I don't care if it's a virus. I want to know. I want to know where it went. I want to read it. I've been actively looking for it. Cuz I go to the psychological tag because I want that good nummy nummy manga story, and I'll find a rare gem. It will have some long ass name or some weird ass name, never going to remember it. And then I just can't find it. I read the entire thing front to back. I had to do that with I think it was a Korean artist with publication in Japanese manga. I don't know, it gets complicated when it gets like that because it has clearly a kind of Korean Japanese mix style. That's so weird. Do you guys know what I mean? Like there's Korean manga artists versus Chinese manga artists versus Japanese manga artists. You can see the style. And it can range from, like, they're not even remotely identical, but I think what really kills the Korean artists is the webtoons. If it looks like it's a webtoon, it was Korean. And it always kills me because I'm like, webtoons are not the best representation. Like, they're full colored and amazing and talented, but you can tell that they're so quickly mass produced and poorly translated at times, and you're just like, no. Oh wow, you need to go to bed, Gretchen. Really? What time is it? Oh, it's the same time here. I'm an idiot. I'm like, what do you mean it's 3 a.m.? I stayed up all night. Is it Koro Koro Connect? Is it? I'm gonna copy that. Oh, we're gonna look it up. Oh, if you're right, I'm gonna be excited. Kokoro, which is like spinning or twirling. Kokoro Connect. What? Controversy. Wait, it's an anime now? No, this doesn't look familiar. Aw, this isn't it. No, this isn't it. Supernatural. No, it's not a drama. This is literally like, the story goes like this. It's a schoolgirl, and she wakes up, and there's her mom and her sister. And she's like, I don't know you people. I've been kidnapped. This is, like, who are you? It's, like, genuinely terrified, like, she's been kidnapped. But they're completely open and friendly. They're like, okay, we'll see you home for dinner. Don't be out too long. Like, treating it, it's, like, completely normal. Meanwhile, she's having a complete mental breakdown. Like, she's convinced she was kidnapped. And then within a few chapters, you're like, oh, wait. She's the Thursday. I think she's Thursday. I think. She is the Thursday of the week. And, like, all of her different personalities, or DID, so her identities, are vastly different. Like, she has one that's really aggressive and actively is like, hey, you didn't write in the book. I'm gonna kick your ass tomorrow. So what she'll do is, like, if she's Wednesday, and she's like, well, Thursday didn't do their part, so for Wednesday, I'm going to jog till I'm so tired that when Thursday wakes up, she's going to be so unable to even function. And it's like, that's not how any of this works, but it's kind of cute the way they do it. It's not a good representation, but Koro Koro Connect, this is 2012. This is not the one I was talking about. This... Huh. It kind of looks like a generic bland anime, and I mean that in the nice way. What is all this? There's a graph. What is this? Mutual and acknowledging feeling. Oh, it's one of these animes. Say no more. I already understand what the graph's about. Oh boy, let me catch up. What are we talking about? Oh, woke up at 2? Aww. Is it a manga? It is a manga. It's not an anime that I know of yet. It clearly was one of those ones that had the potential, or it was the controversy because it was a character with DID. And it wasn't represented correctly because people think DID is like this, you know, like it's fun to be mentally ill. And it's like, that's not how this works at all, honey. No, this isn't TikTok. No. But like in the case of the manga, I was like, hey, Starfire VTuber, beans. We're just talking about odd things. Beans. Refried beans. Green beans. String beans. Do you know what the reference is specifically? A lot of places have said beans, but do you know the exact reference when I say beans? Beans. Answer, Centaur World. In Centaur World. I love it. It's so good. It is a quirk. Yeah. I don't know if that was a good yeah or not. So many places have said beans. Like, it's such an old meme. It is so old. Beans. I feel like there's so many more references that say beans. I just can't think of them outside of the one MLP scene. They didn't even say beans. Did they say beans? She stabbed a bean can, and because beans are mean now. Like the Reese's cup full of beans. Oh my gosh. Mexican beans? I don't know what that one's about. Mexican beans. Is there Latin America beans? I don't know if to laugh or cry. Now, I can't tell from looking at you from profile pic, but are you a veteran? Let me see if I can click on your profile to see. I think they'll let me do it now. No, they won't. They'll let me do it on the app. Okay, you'll just have to... I'm gonna guess you've been a VTuber for maybe 2 years. Do I know you? You look familiar. I really like your orange hair and glasses. You got good art. I always like to take a gander. I'm like, is this a VTuber I've seen? Because I always go on VTuber binges. I haven't in a long time. You get absorbed. Anyways, we were talking about manga. The DID manga. I have a bounty for that if anybody can come up with it. Beans. Want me to link what? Send a link in chat. Beans. Yeah. Beans. Oh, you're Blaze? You changed your name? I feel happy that I remember things sometimes, even when they change. Change make my brain go burr. Is it a drama mystery manga? I can see how it could be drama. Psychological was the main tag that I found the DID manga on. Hold on, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can find it. Let's see. Hold on, I want to see. DID manga. Let's see. But what? That's not even remotely correct. I see DID in /bondage. I'm like, that is not even remotely correct. Is it not called dissociative identity disorder anymore? What? Let's see if I can find it. I doubt it, because I've done this before and I couldn't find it. Is this it? No, that's from the other manga we were talking about. Really? Did it get canceled? It can't be obscure because I'm sure the anime man was the one that talked about it. I actually was like, hey, I should look up this thing because it sounds interesting. Really? I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it was called Thursday. Or Wednesday. Thursday manga. What? Is this it? It? Hold on. Did I find it? What is this? Don't lead me to a weird site. I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it. No, I got excited. Am I thinking of another manga that's called Thursday? I don't know. I thought it looked familiar. I will cry with you on Thursday, 2020. What? I don't think this is it. This gender bender. Yeah, this ain't it. No slice of... No. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Not even remotely. What if I typed in DID into this manga website? DID. Yeah, it's not gonna give me nothing. Yep, none of that means anything to me. Well, I'm sad. God, I will find you one day, DID manga. What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I'm back. Mystery. Yeah, it is definitely a mystery. Because for a small while, it was like... She literally thought she was kidnapped and that these people weren't her family. And it was like, I felt horror with her. I'm like, can you imagine? People are being so nice to you and it's not even in the creepy, like, tee-hee, we know something, wink, wink, that you don't, right? No, they were just like, oh, good morning. Are you Thursday today? Oh, well, hey. They're just nice. Wholesome family, and she's just having an epic panic attack and genuinely, like, researching, like, memory loss and stuff, and then she finds it out pretty quickly that they're not lying. She still finds it hard to believe that what they're saying is true. I can't remember any of the characters' names. That's the hardest thing you could ask. Oh yeah, Vegeta has many colors. Oh no. I think no, Crow. Crow, that's what it was. I was like, did I already forget one of your names? Ah. You're like a Simon Says. Give me a fourth name to remember and see if I remember it. Like dee 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 dee. That's 5. That was 5 tones. Pes Kao. Are you talking about a manga? When did the manga come out? It can't be more than like 4 years old. Not even. Like, the Anime Man reviewed it. Yahweh? No, oh, no, that's not what it is. I'm trying to find it on my own volition too. Dissociative identity disorder, or what's the other one called? Personality disorder is the old name of the disorder. Personality disorder manga? Ooh. Oh, split personality? Is that what it is? Formerly known as split personality disorder. Let's see. Oh, wow, this is a whole genre. What? Oh, that's kind of gross. There's some... Okay, that's not thinning the herd at all. This is a whole genre. Split personality. Okay, Anime Planet. Okay, wait, there's one here. What? Detective Psycho. No, I don't think she's a detective. I don't know, I'll take it. We'll see. Plug it in. I'm seriously hunting. You have no idea how bad I want that. Nope, this isn't it. The art looks way too cool. And it's not super intricate art or anything. It looks very smooth and friendly, not multiple details. Man, there are so many. Really? Is it older than I thought? I'm sure the Anime Man. Maybe I'm remembering my life wrong. I don't know. Somebody help me. I can't remember. Hey, there's CL. Why is CL? This is a Tumblr page. Is it this one? Inside Mari? What's inside Mari? Doesn't look familiar. Looks like it ended already. Oh yeah, this isn't what I know. Is it? No. No. No, this looks very Korean and hentai-ish. That's not the direction it was taken at all. It was like kind of wholesome, but you know, had like mystery vibes. I typed girl can remember their family's manga. I got Red Garden. Red Garden, okay. That doesn't sound familiar. It was probably one of those long, like, in Thursday in which she came or something like that. You know, they just add every syllable. Red Garden. Japanese animated series? No. No, that is wrong art style. Okay, let me try. Girl wakes up. Oh, that's just like every anime, isn't it? Girl wakes up and... God, I can't even say. Girl wakes up and can't remembers. This is so hard. I didn't know this was such a broad... like, it was in a controversial, like, area at the time. Girl wakes up. Can't recognize her family. Can't... Thinks she's kidnapped? Thinks she's kidnapped? That's not even remotely close. Thinks she's kidnapper. That's not how words work. Alone? No, it's not supposed to be an anime. That is a movie. Oh, I should have probably prefaced that's a manga. Okay, why am I seeing Attack on Titan? I don't think we're ever going to find it, but if anybody, if you can send me the manga name and I find it, I will pay you. I will pay you a bounty. Not a big one because I'm poor, but if you have a PayPal, I'll send you like $15. That's how much I want to find it, or $25. I really want to find it, but that's only if you give, like, it's the right one. Why am I seeing Happy Sugar Life? Abducted? She doesn't... Alright, you know what? I'm gonna give up on it. For now, I'm gonna give up on it. Who knows? It's a mystery we will never have answered. Gentai? Oh yeah, old nickname. They were trying to find out like a nickname to call me, or like a pet name, and I used to be called Genty. Because it's like, what do you say, like, Jenta? How do you make that into a pet name? Like, Jenny? Gentilly? That's my full name of Jenta. But then, literally, I think it was Krisu or somebody. One of the D-gens went Gentai. Like, hentai. And it's like, oh, poggers. Like, dang it. Use simple keywords. I do. Like, I usually have a really good time finding old nostalgia dumps, but this one apparently is so broad of a stroke, it's not hidden. It's not. I swear, her name is literally one of the days of the week, so we have that as a core mechanic. Okay, so let's see. Manga about a girl, I just burped, a girl who forgets the whole week. Oh, it kind of reminds me of One Week Friend, but it's not. Look, and there's One Week Friend. That's not what it is, though. It's not One Week Friend. That is a completely different. That is an anime. It's not One Week Friends. I never got to finishing it, but it's not that. This is really killing me. I said I was gonna drop it. I'm dropping it. We're dropping it. No more weeaboo talk. We're done. No more. It's a honey hole I'll never get out of. Man, wanted to see how close I am from surpassing Muffin. You mean with points? You should be able to open the point board. Is it not on anymore? Yeah? Oh great, now we have another stream problem. Points. Really? Points are out. Alright, well, let's try to fix that this stream, since we're having fun. This feels more like a Twitch stream. I feel like Twitch streams, you can be, like, more dead spaced in between, like, your content. But for YouTube, you always have to, like, perform. I don't know. That's just my headspace. I can't imagine being quiet while streaming. It gnaws at my ears. We opened up Google for what purpose? I do not remember. Oh, Streamlabs. You know, the place that has not messed me up. They changed their thing again. Login. We'll see. Hold on. The point store should have been fixed unless they did another stupid update. Let's see. Cloudbot? Cloudbot's turned off! No, you're back on. Okay, I don't know if it'll work this stream, but I turned it on. I turned it on. Loyalty store. Loyalty store. Test! I still have the test in here. Can I buy a test? I don't know how to get to my own loyalty store. I don't think I can activate it during a stream. Can I? Let's see. Points. Probably won't. Is the manga Korean or Japanese? It's Japanese. It is 100% Japanese. I am in the way. There we go. It is Japanese. Hey, the points are back! Quick, somebody hit test and see if it works. I'm gonna do it. Why do I ask you to do anything? I love you. I don't know how to get to my store. Why don't they just have an easy link so I can get to my, like, reward store? Can somebody click it? Wait, I should be able to redeem it by command, right? It's, let me see the command. Access? No. Stream next. It's called test. Okay, it's just exclamation test. Where'd the chat go? Chat. Hold on, guys. This is becoming a productive stream. Test. Did I do it? Why do I look so concerned? Oh, I hit buttons! That's why! I hit keybinds. I'm like, what is wrong with my face? What am I doing? I don't know. It didn't work. Ugh, go figure. I can turn on the points, but they can't turn on me, and that's not what we say. Okay, what if I create a new item? We're gonna call this pop. We're gonna do 1 point quantity cooldown, none of that. Click me. How about that? Next, show redeem alert. Oh, is that why? Does the show redeem alert is not on? No, it's on. You being finicky, me upsetty, spaghetti, upsetty with spaghetti. Did anybody get it to work? How can I get points? Hold on, there should be a button I can give all current watchers. You earn points by watching the stream, and I choose the hourly rate. Okay, here we go. Add points to viewers. I will give 100 free points to all viewers. Oh, you have to make sure that your YouTube account is your subscriptions to people, like when you subscribe, not like Twitch, just like normal free subscribe. That has to be public or it doesn't register. Okay, so I gave 100 points. Muffin's life will be his undoing. Not saying I don't have a life. Oh, yeah, I don't know what Muffin's been up to, and I look scared again. There we go. It's a time that's long gone, but we'll try. We'll try to get back there. I always say that, and that always ruins everything. We're never going back. Never going back again. Yeah, supposedly I should have gave everybody 100 points. Yeah, it's not registering. I can give manual points, but I don't know how to do that. Settings. Let's see. Okay, loyalty system is on. We know that is true. Minutes. Okay. God, it's so complicated. Why in the world is it like this? Why does my test high not work? Wait, do I have to confirm it? Excuse me. I don't know. My brain hurts. I feel like oil. I should probably let my dog in. I got 2.5 hours of talking out. That's not what I expected. I expected to cry and then crawl in my little sad hole and disappear. This has been pleasantly surprising. You guys have very much improved my mood. I did not give you the benefit of the doubt. Because I didn't give me a benefit of the doubt. I just expected disappointment. And I mean, I'm a walking contradiction, so that's probably how this all went right, too. Like, I don't impulse things rarely. I shut down impulse all the time. But that's the way of coping. But, like, impulse streaming seems to always be a positive. Like, I usually always go in. Except for the kitten stream that one time. Yeah, but I ended on a crying note. But yeah, I need to wipe my face. I need to check my dog's butt, make sure she don't got no diarrhea going on. But other than that, I had a good time. Like I said, bounty on the manga with DID, or personality disorder, or whatever, split personality, I don't even know. I feel like I hallucinated it. It was such a good gem, I lost it, and now I don't deserve it, apparently. Oh, well. One day or another, I will find you. I'm gonna get you one way. Man, how did Mythic rig this? I don't want to think about it. I'll get sad. Alright, well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. But thank you for sharing your time with me and listening to me ramble a little bit. I appreciate it. It's been nice. Should probably take my night meds. Oh boy. I fixed my sleep today. I did so much productive stuff and I'm gonna mess it up again. No. Alright. I feel bad that the beginning of the stream is completely different than how we ended. Oh well, off screen. No music still. No music still. I don't have music.